what is contextualized, what is hyper-personalized, and how they can reach the consumers where the consumers are actually searching for.
Let's say you are using a quick commerce platform, be it Zepto, Swiggy, or Big Basket, and you are putting a contextual ad on the platform while you are searching for something else, and that it would happen only if you have the proper content tagging and all.
How should agencies and brand actually rethink media value, the transparency that is there, and also the long-term partnerships?
6 months back, some of the quick commerce platforms were not even sure that if you advertise in certain SKU and there is a stock out, the ad was still running. Now they have optimized that automatically the ad will stop running if there is a stock out. So all these, as agency should know, what is the latest.
Last month, Publicis Commerce India and MMA Global India dropped a major industry blueprint, the Quick Commerce Playbook India 2025, which is designed to help marketers unlock growth and profitability in the country's fastest growing retail channel. Quick commerce has skyrocketed from 1.5 billion in 2022 to nearly 7 billion in 2024. Yet, despite the scale, 70% of brands still say that it's less profitable than other channels. In this, Lalatendu explains to Campaign India why success in quick commerce is not about deep discount, but precision in demand forecasting, visibility, and agility in execution. Hello and welcome to another episode of Agency Architect. And today we have Lalatendu Das. He is the CEO for Publicis Media, South Asia. Thank you so much for being with us, LD.
Thanks, Vinita, for having me on your show.
And I'm sure you are excited to unpack the best topic of this year, or rather for the past few years, quick commerce. I'm sure you use it. I rely on it. And it has become the go-to for almost every brand marketer.
Yeah.
And recently, you have unveiled the Quick Commerce Playbook 2025.
Right.
Firstly, I would like to understand from you, what were some of the things that really stood out for you in this playbook?
Quick commerce is now pretty much everywhere. To your specific question, there are three key insights that I would like to highlight. Number one, while quick commerce is growing at a breakneck speed, we realize that not many brands have yet cracked or successfully scaled their businesses on quick commerce. Just to give you a factoid on the number of brands that we surveyed and kind of asked them what percentage of your revenue is coming through quick commerce, majority of them kind of outlined around 10%. That's the upper ceiling. There are one or two exceptions going beyond 10, but majority of them are 10 and less. So that tells that even though quick commerce value is very clear, the scalability has not arrived. Number two, the consumer behavior between the horizontal marketplaces like Flipkart, Amazon, and all that is very different from those on the quick commerce platform. For example, people are actually searching for the SKU, not for a brand. Therefore, what it means for brands is not just to think of brand, but what are the right SKU in my area people are looking for? Am I having that on stock? And I'm seeing people who are searching for, that's a very subtle nuance. And the third aspect is about what therefore the brands can do, having a presence on quick commerce. There are multiple, the frequency of optimization kind of goes much, much bigger.
Quick commerce has been around only for the past few years. It really grew in the pandemic years. So if I were to put it down to 5 years, do you not think that 10% is still a decent figure to have reached?
Absolutely. But looking at people like you and I, where I don't know whether my life would be as convenient without a quick commerce, to me, this 10% is still a little bit surprising. I was hoping for more, right, to be on this, but hey, I'm an optimist, right? But it is growing at 175% every year. So yeah, I mean, we have high expectations on what quick commerce can do for the country.
So when it comes to SKUs, people usually put either a category or a product or a brand name, and then they get the search results and they see it. Here, the top of the mind recall is what the deal clincher. So from a media and marketing standpoint, what are some of the key behavioral aspects that really came out during this playbook? And where do you see this entire inflection point when it comes to the consumer impatience and brand opportunity?
When it comes to quick commerce, we are seeing less of category search, more of brand search, and more of SKU search, right? When it comes to quick commerce, people are actually searching for shampoo 250 ml or shampoo 1 kg, or sometimes people are directly going to branded search, head and shoulder. People are not coming to quick commerce to explore or understand what options are there. They have made up their mind. That's the main change in terms of behavior. Now, second part of your question was therefore what it means for brands to kind of optimize on this behavior. That is about how to make your ads contextual. Because on quick commerce, what does not work is if you give a long form storytelling while somebody is coming here for a half liter shampoo, right? But if you have a conversation, if somebody is searching for, let's say, 50 ml shampoo, and it is a rainy season in Delhi, it has to be therefore location specific. You may figure out a contextual ad saying that in rainy season, frizzy hair can be better served by your brand. What would not work is a long-term brand building to say that what is my brand history, where I come from, why people love me, and maybe a big celebrity and all. That works in other platforms, not so on quick commerce. So therefore, I would say, as brand managers, if you are really looking to win on quick commerce, you need to master this art of contextual advertising, being very focused on hyperlocal, what is happening in that area, and how do you get your content therefore so super sharp that people match that intent to the offering that your brand can do.
So, what you mentioned about ads is very pertinent, because quick commerce has now become the extension of retail media. And retail media by itself is becoming the next interesting aspect that a lot of brand marketers are looking at. At the same time, when you look at the contextuality of retail media and then dial it down into quick commerce, it's a completely different game altogether, right? If someone is going over there searching for a half kilo, ml of shampoo, they don't want to see something completely irrelevant. In fact, it's off-putting. So in such a kind of situation, when they are, brand marketers might not necessarily get the real-time data, how do they factor in the what is contextualized, what is hyper-personalized, and how they can reach the consumers where the consumers are actually searching for?
Let's say you are using a quick commerce platform, be it Zepto, Swiggy, or Big Basket, and you are putting a contextual ad on the platform while you are searching for something else, and that it would happen only if you have the proper content tagging and all, right? For example, if somebody, the example I gave, somebody is searching for shampoo, you know that the guy is in Delhi and Delhi's weather is bad. Or if somebody is searching for cough syrup or something, and you know it is Diwali time in Delhi and there are all this thing, and you want to position Dabur Chyawanprash, right, as a preventive thing. That kind of contextual advertising you need to optimize for. All these quick commerce have partnership with Meta or Trade Desk, where you can have a view what has been the purchase pattern of this guy, how affluent has he, does he use a credit card or is all cash or whatever he is making, does he making a UPI payment, right? Those signals you can use on Meta, while as a discovery platform the person is just scrolling, you know, okay, this guy can I show on contextual advertising, which may be a longish form or the YouTube shorts or reel or whatever it is, to do long-term branding. So I think quick commerce is enabling both. Maybe most of the people are very much focused on the on-platform contextual advertising because it's then and there you can get it. But the off-platform advertising can be used for long-term brand building as well.
So Have you seen during the making of the playbook that whether brands are actually diverting spends from platforms like Google or Meta towards quick commerce platforms?
Yeah, we did find some evidence of that as well. But one of the factoid we so there is, yeah, some shift is happening, but that's not very prominent. 20% of our respondents said that quick commerce is a net incremental sales for them. Like quick commerce is bringing net incremental rather than pure channel shift from horizontal marketplaces or Google Meta or any of that. But few of the respondents did indicate that this is a channel shift. Money is moving from one platform to other.
And what do you think could be the reason for this? Is it because of the effectiveness of the platforms? Is it because of the efficiency of these platforms? Or do you think that, consumers are just, there is a certain amount of fatigue that has set in when it comes to the old digital duopoly?
I would not say that fatigue or this thing is just a very different medium, right? The best way to understand quick commerce is, I would say that this is a distribution first channel. Like instead of you going and giving your inventory to wholesalers, you are now putting it on a quick commerce platform and it is going on there. Money is moving here because people who are optimizing for sales, and that through immediate scale up in sales, they are seeing quicker returns on this. But the downside is the margins are probably lower. But definitely quick commerce gives you a quicker distribution channel for those brands who do not have that trade marketing arm very much well developed with a robust setup, uh, wholesalers, distributors, even retailer network. They're jumping in here, and therefore money is moving here. And we say, whether it's sustainable or not, time will tell.
Okay, you just mentioned about the fact that, quick commerce has emerged as a distribution first channel, but often it is also accused as being a conversion engine and not a brand driver, which is also something that you've alluded to. So, do you think there is a possibility that quick commerce channels can ever become discovery platforms for brands? Or, brands will still need to invest heavily in top of the funnel story making that is outside of the ecosystem.
Hey, nobody knew in 3 years back that quick commerce would be this big, right? So I would not like to speculate, but today in quick commerce, it is not a brand building first platform. For example, no marketer in their right senses would think that I would build my brand on quick commerce. But there is always a spillover effect, right? You are going to quick commerce to drive sales, right? Maybe you get better ROAS and all that thing on your marketing spend. And you are hoping that as more and more people use my brand, they talk about it, maybe they post it, all of them are enabling reviews, ratings, maybe sharing on social media. Through that spillover effect, if your brand building happens, well and good. But this is not a premier brand building platform yet. Can it happen in tomorrow? Your guess is as good as mine.
Quick commerce is also dialing into the retail media space. Now, as they become increasingly both a marketplace as well as a media platform by extension, how should agencies and brand actually rethink media value, the transparency that is there, and also the long term partnerships? Because this ecosystem is evolving extremely rapidly.
Yes. I'm fortunate to run one of the large agencies, and we are probably one of the biggest players when it comes to quick commerce advertising, and hence the report and all that. Three things are essential for agencies. This space, as you said, is changing. Every day we are seeing a new ad format, right? A new capability. For example, 6 months back, some of the quick commerce platforms were not even sure that if you advertise in certain SKU and there is a stock out, the ad was still running. Now they have optimized that automatically the ad will stop running if there is a stock out. So all these as agency should know what is the latest. That's number one. Number two, by doing all this, newer strategies are emerging. Because what we need to understand, and many of the clients struggle to understand, is feature and strategy are two different things. Feature is a day parting, that's a given, but what is the strategy, that what time of the day you will go? Are you going to always seek to be the rank number 1 in a search result or rank number 2 is good enough. What keywords are you going to bid and what keywords you think you will organically rank, right? These strategies are emerging, right? And are you, as I said, are you going to organize campaign by SKU, by pin code and dark store level, or go at a city level? Differs from brand to brand, right? So the second important aspect for agencies is to have this playbook of different strategies for different brand context. And the third part is the data and technology maturity. One thing that I can tell by doing this is a very effort intensive work, right? And sometimes it borderline drudgery for my people to monitor and keep changing 3 times a day and all. So there's a lot of innovation coming in. There are companies in this space who are coming through automation and agentic AI and all that stuff to say that, can I automate this entire process of monitoring ROAS and optimizing campaign, everything automated? As with AI, promise is great, actual delivery is probably not as much, but staying on top of all these innovation is the third aspect where agency can add value.
That brings me to my last question to you, LD. Is that about data, right? Quick commerce, one of the reasons marketers and brands also like them is the quantum of real-time data that it provides. But as has been seen, I mean, you have mentioned that your team has to sift through a lot of data, right? But at the same time, many organizations still have their teams working in silos to cull out all the data, feed it across the various teams, then get a coherent and a cohesive kind of a bird's eye view on how this can help them probably in their next campaign planning. That is very utopian. I mean, it's something that's been spoken about for a very long time, but one has not seen it come to pass. Do you think marketers are ready, or even agencies are ready for such kind of a situation where they can actually lean in or leverage these kind of real time data and then quickly pivot to come up with campaigns that can yield better ROAS?
I think as a intent, I see this everywhere. All the brands I talk to, they want to do this. But very few people have the thought clarity on how do I get there? Because everybody knows the destination, but not the path. For example, as a brand, do you have a consolidated view on promotional spends to advertising spends? You'd be surprised, Vanita, if you ask many brands, they would say, okay, that's a different team, this is a different team. I don't get a consolidated view. Can you start by saying that what are the KPIs that matter to me? Do I have a simple dashboard where I'm seeing the right KPI? Because the beauty of data is once you measure, you can optimize. Otherwise, you can sit there and in your ivory tower and you would expect that AI will solve the world hunger. It doesn't, right? You would be one of the same across multitude of people who are running the same chat GPTs and all. So the conversations that I have with clients is basically what is first that thought clarity, what KPIs matter and why, right? Is the everyone in the team are aware, so that you are actually saving that. Many of the data are there, very critical data lying in Excel sheet. Somebody's Excel sheet, somebody's email. It's not coming together. So once you have that shared understanding what matters, right? Everybody is aligned, you would find a way. The second step would be everybody has a data warehouse or data lake. I mean, these terms have been bastardized enough, right? But can we start with the basics, saying that here are the 5 data points that we are rigorously, religiously capturing? And then comes the AI, because now that if you have some proprietary data set, which is proprietary to the brand, and you are having the AI to learn on that, maybe the responses it is going to give you is a little bit nuanced from what your competitors is getting, right? So it's a journey. Many people are caught in this buzzword of AI without knowing that, hey, you need a data foundation. And before you set up any data foundation, you need that thought clarity on what matters to the brand. I would say start there, right? Define what matters to you. Set up a basic data structure where you're starting to capture this, then train your AI on those, and maybe that's the journey which has infinite potential.
Well, LD, thank you so much for taking the time for demystifying the rabbit hole that some might call the quick commerce world is. And at the same time, also telling us that, how it is that brand marketers should look at it, starting with the basics, which is just the go-to rule for just any new technology. Thank you once again for being
Thank
here.
you, Vanita. Thank you.
Thank you.